So it's Saturday night and you lucky people have got four of Talk's mightiest personalities in one room. I mean, what could go right? Welcome to Clash of the Titans. Here we are. Welcome to Clash of the Titans. What a set. Me, Jeremy Kyle, Michael Graham, Julia, I'm not grumpy tonight, Hartley-Brewer and Kev O'Sullivan. Before we start and we get into it, what do we make of the set? Have you seen this?
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Jules is smiling.
Yeah, I'm quite intrigued by Mike, actually.
I think they've made us all look a lot better than we actually look.
I know what to ask for next time I go to the hairdresser.
I'd like to talk about Jez's nipples on his...
You got nipples? Oh, yeah. You've got nipples.
I don't know what to
I didn't think you had nipples. I assumed you just came in an egg.
Really? I've never thought the same about you, to be honest. But we'll not talk about nipples. Listen, we've all brought a story. Let's just crack on. For me, and I was ranting massively this week, the Huw Edwards story is the main news story. We did some investigation at Talk, because, of course, the initial thing is, like, this guy gets away with viewing pictures of 7-year-old boys, gets them online, gets a suspended sentence, and people are, like, recoiling in horror. Talk did a research thing, and we discovered 10 to 20 of the last people caught doing this have all got suspended sentences. So is this Starmer's crowded prisons? Is it because we're being soft? Because as far as I'm concerned, I even know that... What's the name of that woman up north who got 15 months for writing you should do something to mosques? Not that we condone that, but surely you'd educate her and you'd go, do you know what? You can't speak like that. Yeah. She got 15 months.
Why is she
and he's free.
Prison? I know, but this is the thing.
Dreadful.
8 out of 10... paedophiles, let's call them what they are.
He's a paedo.
View images, and this was images of children as young as 7, being sexually abused by adults. They don't go to prison, and we're told it's because it's better to rehabilitate them and they don't reoffend. They don't get caught reoffending.
What about the victim?
Yeah, well, exactly. I don't understand what the message is. Who do the British people want to go to jail? People who want to look at images of children being abused.
You're absolutely right. He's a pedo. He's a pedo.
There are two things we've got to recalibrate. One, first-time pedos offenders have to go to jail.
Yes.
No ifs, no buts. And the other thing we have to recalibrate is this nonsense of suspended sentences. What does it mean when a magistrate says to you, this is what the magistrate said to Edwards. You have crossed the threshold for a custodial sentence.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Then did not give him a custodial sentence. Right. When you get a suspended sentence, it means they are letting you off. And we should get rid of suspended sentences.
Completely. And just to say, and as I brought this story, the BBC... They paid him for 6 months knowing they were child abuse images.
And
That's
also,
disgusting.
everyone I speak to in our business knows someone who was approached by Huw Edwards in some way, shape or form, whether by text...
It wasn't out of the blue.
No, I mean, everybody knew he was doing it. But BBC must have known he was doing it.
And they've got form for this. The BBC's got form. So many, but not say that every organisation other than the BBC is whiter than white, but they have such form for this. But then they'll suspend someone who sent another adult some messages that they didn't like or were unhappy with, happy with from a married man. I won't even name the names because I just think you can't equate the same thing. But they knew that there was something dodgy going on. Huw Edwards, he was hiding in plain sight. Just the way Jimmy Savile did. But because he was a nice person, everyone liked him, and we all trusted him when he told us that the Queen had died. Apparently, it's OK for him to be totally predatory. And I don't know about you, but how many random 17-year-olds that you've never met have you paid 35 grand to?
It's nonsensical, isn't it?
Pictures?
And also the idea that one of the reasons that he got off with no time in jail was that he hadn't been previously of good character. How do they know that? Right?
Can I do my pet hate before I finish?
But this is a guy who has obviously been doing this for a long time. And also I interviewed a paedophile once. He came into my studio in Glasgow, in Scotland rather, and he said, "We can't stop." He said, "You'll never cure being paedophile.
By the way, you say you've interviewed a paedophile once. You've interviewed lots of politicians, as I have. We've definitely interviewed a lot of paedophiles. We just don't know they are.
And can I just say this, because I brought this story, and the other thing, and this is a little bit personal, and you'll know why I'm going to say this. I am sick to death of people like Huw Edwards who get caught. Because let's be perfectly honest, going, and I'm sorry, I have every right to say this, my mental health, hold on a second, mate. I'm not going to name other people, I'll get into trouble. I bet you if he hadn't been caught, I bet you would still be looking at those pictures and I bet he wouldn't be in the bleeding Priory. It's a disgrace how some celebrities go, I'm mentally affected.
Let's remember this as well. Why did those white working class rioters go to prison? Why did those old ladies on keyboards writing nasty words on Facebook? No, I'll tell you why they were given a prison sentence. It was actually said because what they did targeted emergency workers. So what Huw Edwards did was target a 7-year-old kid for his own sexual gratification. So we are saying it is worse to target emergency workers than poor little kids. That is rubbish.
But also, it was all about those tougher sentences during the riots was about stopping people going out on the streets next Friday night. Well, you know, so deterrence, what? So high-profile, tough sentencing is a deterrence. Well, what's better than a high-profile figure like Huw Edwards getting a tough sentence and sending out that message? But they did. But I'm with you. The playing of the mental health card is one of the sickest things, and that was used by the likes of John Sopel and all the other.
Carry on, name them. I'll keep quiet.
No, but they were quite happy, weren't they, to like say, you know, people shouldn't have an attack. And the reason they didn't want Huw Edwards attack, they claimed basically because it was a tabloid newspaper, our colleagues at The Sun, who had exposed the story about the 17-year-old, apparently non-criminal. I think we've got some question marks about that. But it was about that, and it was because it was a boy. And basically, it suddenly became a whole, well, let's not talk about it because he's having trouble with his sexuality. No, he was a predatory man who was abusing young boys by looking at the images of them being sexually abused.
Somebody said to me this week, it's all about the justice system, but for me, I mean, I know Tugendhat jumped in and said, we should do something about it. The people that I spoke to on the show every single day, absolutely appalled. He is a paedophile. He should be in jail. You cannot behave like that and then put people away for nonsense.
He also still has the extra 200,000 quid that he got.
And his pension.
Under false pretences, by the way, because he knew he was up for,
and he knew
for a
he was
serious
plead
charge.
guilty
He didn't tell anyone, and the pension, 200,000 to 300,000 a year he's going to get.
From the BBC, from us,
right?
But the real scandal here is that, in fairness to Huw Edwards, I hesitate.
You're not doing that. I'm out. You're not saying that on this show.
Let me rephrase that. No.
As the 7-year-old said.
What we have to remember is
fairness. Just Huw Edwards.
Listen. Just listen.
Get on with it.
Just listen for once in your life. He did not get special treatment.
No.
This is the way we treat paedophiles. First-time paedophiles get let off. We got to stop this. They go to jail. No ifs, no buts.
Yeah, but one of the reasons that he didn't get any time in prison, because they worked it down from a year, I think his lawyer was very clever, got him into a magistrate's court instead of a Crown Court, where he could have got a bigger sentence, but it started off with a year, took 6 months off because he pleaded guilty, took another 3 months off because he had mental health problems, and took another 3 months off because he'd never done it before.
I think
zero time.
I think it's disgusting for victims. We've done Huw Edwards. He should rot. I think they should all go to prison. We should think about victims. This is great. What you brought me.
I want to talk about the man who was Director of Public Prosecutions, who presided over a lot of this, Sir Keir Starmer, who has been earning a whopping great 6-figure salary. His pension as DPP is so large, they had to have an Act of Parliament to allow it to continue to be so large. He and his wife worked in the NHS, paper pushers, not doing anything useful, but actually earning major money, big house in Islington, apparently can't afford to pay for his own suits, she can't afford to pay for her own frocks. Got to be said. Look, you know, I'm not sure I'd manage with a house husband. I'd like my man to have a job, but I'm not quite sure any self-respecting man wants another man to buy his wife her
That's
frock.
very weird.
£5,000 worth of dresses that she was given by
Did he go
Lord
shopping with her, the other man?
There was a personal shopper. Apparently she's so busy and important she can't actually choose her own clothes. And he had, this is like, 10 grand plus, 20 grand plus, suits, 6 pairs of glasses. How many pairs of glasses does one man need for all his different faces? But this is the thing I find extraordinary, the freebies. £100,000 now we know that the Starmers have had in freebies, more than any other frontline politician. This man is on the take, but the key thing about this is he's so holier than thou.
It's all
sanctimonious.
Great word.
Criticising Boris Johnson and Carrie Johnson, quite rightly, by the way, for accepting their freebies. And then as soon as he gets the opportunity, he takes it all himself. The man loves watching Arsenal play. Buy your own tickets.
You know, I find astonishing about Starmer's, and we all know about, take the winter fuel payment away from pensioners and screw them over the council tax discount. This man who purports to be leading a party that cares about working people. The optics of taking all those freebies while you're releasing prisoners in their Gucci trainers to spray champagne and go and commit other crimes. And you've got pensioners that their own people will say will freeze to death this winter. I don't know. Who's advising this? Who's advising him?
It's also worse than you think, because in the small print today, in one of the papers I was reading, it turns out that he has taken more freebies than any other MP since 2019. Right? So more freebies. Also, he made £404,000 last year, somehow only paid £99,000 in tax. I'd like to know how that works.
I'd like to know his accountant.
25%.
25%.
I'd love it. We'd want Keir Starmer to answer that.
Why does a multi-millionaire need another multi-millionaire to buy his clothes.
I'll tell you why.
And this is the guy, Starmer, in the election campaign said cronyism and corruption in Westminster will stop. Not under my watch. He's a hypocrite and a bloody liar.
Exactly. And it's also the
Well
doubling down we saw. So on the day that 10 million pensioners, including some of them on the lowest incomes, lost their £300 a year to help them put the extra bar heater on or put the radiator on during winter. It's lovely and sunny this week. Won't last for very long. It's Britain. On that very day, his wife fronts it out at London Fashion Week in an outfit that cost about $2,500. It wasn't even a very nice outfit. $2,500 while she's sitting there looking like Anna Wintour with her big glasses on.
Is that the spotty dress?
Yes,
like a Dalmatian, I thought.
I mean, we can see the outfit on screen. I mean, I'm sorry, she's a lovely-looking woman. I'm sure she looks very good in it.
Lady
and apparently it was... Well, she's known as Queen Vic by Labour staff.
You know what? I think
she's
she's the new Meghan Markle, this woman. You know, everybody says, oh, but she's really, really nice.
Normal.
And she's really normal. Well, it doesn't look like it to me.
Because somebody explains to me the optics, right? Is it because, right, just very quickly, you lot would know more, is it because he's got this massive majority, wait before you jump in, that he thinks, I don't care? Is it that he's completely forgotten on what he got voted in for, with a very, very, very small amount of voters, by the way? It's almost like the first 6 weeks, nothing happened. The last 5 or 6 weeks, it's just been PR disaster after PR disaster. And I now genuinely believe this is a one-term government, whatever.
He is staring us in the face and saying, I've got the power. You don't like what I've done. I don't care. The same for the winter fuel allowance. He's on a control freak trip. That's what...
You know what my theory
is? Also, I think he stated that he will continue to accept gifts from Lord Wahid Ali, who I should declare is an old friend of mine. He's a very nice man, but I'm not cutting him any slack.
Has he ever bought you a suit?
He's never bought me a bloody suit ever.
Rich man suits and glasses and frocks.
It's ridiculous.
If you've got that much money, you want to give people... You know what? There are loads of women who've left abusive homes, who've got nothing. They've moved into a shelter, got no clothes for the baby. Give them the money.
Right.
Here's my theory. My theory about Keir Starmer, and a lot of the people on the Labour front bench, but particularly Keir Starmer, this holier-than-thou thing that he's got about himself. I think he is so imbued with this self-belief that he is so much better and so much more moral than everyone else. He can't believe that anything he does is bad.
Yeah.
It's that Donald Trump thing where, but if I do it, it can't be against the law because I'm the president. And Keir Starmer, if I do it, it can't be bad because I'm Keir Starmer.
But let's ask the other question, though. You know, what is Lord Ali getting out of it? Because, you know, he's giving loads of money to Keir Starmer and to Mrs. Starmer and to, by the way, Sue Gray's son and to Angela Rayner and to Rachel Reeves. He's bankrolling the whole business.
Clearly, I need a frock allowance.
You can't do anything for him. You're not in power.
Well, this is the thing. You know, we still haven't really been told exactly what he was doing with the pass in Downing Street.
We got that free pass to number 10.
Yeah,
that's access.
but we don't.
Access is power.
Well, I call it cash for access. That used to be a scandal in the world of politics, right? We still don't really know what he's up to. We don't know what... He clearly can pick up the phone. Somebody told me the other day that they were in the House of Lords at a dinner and there was Wahid Ali cozying up with Angela Rayner in the corner. Having a very nice time. Thank you very much indeed.
I will make a suggestion that by Christmas, the opinion polls, if the Tories don't get their act together, which I don't think they can do that quickly, I think Reform will be pushing the Labour Party. I think in the May elections, locally, if they carry on like this, this is...
People hate him. People hate
Starmer now. Unbelievable, I think, in 12 short weeks.
I've never seen 100 million.
It's not in your story,
including
but
my own.
Can I just throw in yesterday, David Lammy, and I quote, saying... Right, and I quote this, the green agenda is more important than international terrorism. At that point, I just went, I don't even want to live in this
bloody country. He doesn't even believe it.
He's an idiot,
They're lying to us left, right and centre, virtue signalling their heads.
But
Ed Miliband is going to...
Could Lord Ali give Foreign Secretary some shoes because he will train us on the way to the States.
I call him Comical Lammy now because remember that guy, Comical Ali, that used to hide out. They've got the other Comical
Iraqi
Ali now.
PR.
Right, you lot, shut your face. We've got to go to a break. When we come back, there's more of Clash of the Titans. We'll be discussing Starmer's immigration problem, amongst all his other problems, and the second assassination attempt on Donald Trump at the golf course. We're going off for a wee. We'll be back in 3. Welcome back, Clash of the Titans, Saturday night. Look at this, 4 enormous personalities, well, 3.
And we're still here.
Sullivan. Yeah, we're still here. We haven't been taken off air.
No, we haven't had a row.
Julia Hartley-Brewer has had a sip of wine. She's loosened up, and trust me,
she's drunk.
She's drunk. She's as drunk as a skunk. Me and Mike are giving it. Kev O'Sullivan, we're just going to step back. Poor bugger didn't get a word in edgeways. Go.
I don't know what to say. No, I could, in my inimitable fashion, go on for hours about this. We're going to talk about the migrant crisis. We're going to shut up. We're going to talk about the migrant crisis.
This is what it's like at dinner, by the way.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
No, it's not that polite.
Stop interrupting him.
Come on, Kev, crack on.
Come on, get on.
Do you want to hear about the migrant crisis or not?
No, I don't want
look,
to.
it goes like this. Right, let's move on to some in America, shall we?
Go on.
No, OK. This is an absolute disaster, obviously, and I'll try to keep it short. In the last month, 20 people have drowned in the Channel trying to get across. In the past 2 weeks, something like 4,000 people have come across. In the past few days, since Saturday, 1,200 alone. Still they come.
10,000 since Starmer's been in.
Well done, Keir.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah.
That was I was
Smashing
going to
the
come to
gangs.
that. Yeah, 10,000. So 23,500 so far this year. 10,000, as you say, since Starmer got
Get your
in on
calculator
July
out.
the 5th. Last year, there were 29,000. So we're on course to get a lot more than we did last year. And this is mainly, I think, due to Starmer's hopelessness. Him and Calamity Cooper, the Home Secretary, have completely mischaracterised the nature of the problem by saying it's just verbiage. They just come up with things like, we're going to smash the people smuggling gangs, the evil people smuggling gangs. He keeps saying it. That won't work. Everybody knows it. You can smash as many gangs as you like. As long as the migrants are coming, there will be new gangs tomorrow. That's what we say on all of our shows, day in, day out. All the people phone in and say they're right. And now, guess what? They've finally managed to hire a guy who looks like Joe 90 called Martin Hewitt.
We thought he looked a bit like
He
you.
wasn't
He
the
doesn't
first
look anything like me.
He wasn't the first choice, by
There's
the
something
way.
wrong with those glasses.
He wasn't the first choice. 2 other people turned it down before him.
Thank you very much, Jez.
One of them was Long John
was that
Silver.
your next
Great
line?
information, that.
Anyway,
That really takes...
anyway, show's nearly
Wait a
over,
second.
Kev. Can you move
so
on?
He comes in, and he's charged with smashing the gangs. What's the first thing he says? Smashing the gangs won't work.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Also, is this guy not? His name's Hewitt, isn't it?
Yeah, Martin
He's
Hewitt.
not. He's not that other bloke called
Hewlett.
Hewitt. He's Hewlett. Yeah, this is the same guy.
not Harry's father.
He's not Harry's father. He's in charge of. He was in charge of all the police arresting people for sitting on park benches during COVID. Yeah. Great. Brilliant.
I tell you what I
They were great. They were great at stopping free movement when he was the actual British citizen during COVID, but not apparently at stopping.
I tell you what I don't understand.
Illegal migrants coming in.
People far more intelligent than me have said on the show for weeks,
And that's
months.
everybody, Jez.
That's true. Yeah,
Great. She
Very
just
harsh.
desperately wants to. Can't bring herself to admit it. What I don't understand is people say to me, nobody wants to sort it out. To me, it's really, really very simple. I don't understand. He went to Italy with Giorgia Meloni this week, Starmer, and starts talking about a plan that's based in Albania. They're going to send, which is seemingly not really that different to Rwanda. My problem is this: why are we not, as the powerful nation that we are, able to process this, send these people back, stop the boats? So most of all, am I wrong in saying this? This country is so soft that surely somebody should work out that if we give them hotels and money and wipe their backsides while we're freezing our pensioners, they're going to keep coming. That's a deterrent. Make it harder.
When the option in France is sleeping in a tent or by the beach. But this is the key thing. This is not beyond the wit of man to sort out. It's not rocket science. And there's no reason why we can't do this. But there hasn't been a political will. There hasn't been a political will by the Tories. Because I think the fundamental, this certainly won't be by Labour, I think the fundamental issue is that the greater the good, politicians of pretty much every major party, the civil service, all of the humanitarian agencies, many in the senior figures in all of these roles, they fundamentally don't believe in borders.
Exactly,
they think we've got this duty of care to everyone in the world, and that's fine. I completely understand. Like,
what about our own people?
People living in absolute, basket case countries with civil war, with economic problems and barely any human rights. I completely understand why those people would want to come to Europe and want to come specifically to Britain. They often speak English as a second or third language. But here's the thing, how many do we take? And every time I've had a politician on, I say, OK, give me a number. Right. At what point do we stop being the solution to every problem?
But I go back to what I said. What about your own people, if your own people are suffering?
What is the difference between Keir Starmer and Giorgia Meloni? The difference is this: Giorgia Meloni.
He's got a penis.
Giorgia Meloni. Well, are you sure? I'm not.
She wrote that hit with Phil Oakey in the 80s.
He's borrowed it from Lord
Here's
Ali.
the difference: Giorgia Meloni wants to stop migrants coming to Italy, and Keir Starmer doesn't. Want
She's made it harder.
Do you know what's interesting?
No, she wants to stop them. Starmer doesn't want to stop them.
Do you know what's interesting?
We've got to have a deterrent. That's what Martin Hewitt said. And what did Keir Starmer do on day one of his administration scrapped only deterrent.
Yes.
Yeah.
He wants...
But I disagree only. I think an even bigger deterrent would stop being so soft. And I wanted to say this to you. We don't look after our own, our pensioners, our veterans, people just on the line who've never broken the law. Guy rang me the other night. He said, I've never broken the law. I've always paid my taxes. I've never asked for jack, Jez. And I look at this now and I feel like I'm a... eighth important citizen.
I'm not going to go and pop the boat I've got off a boat.
What's also interesting is that it's kind of gone below the radar, but the Office of Budget Responsibility put out a set of figures the other day at which they categorised exactly how much it's going to cost each and every one of us, and it's upwards of about £500,000.
It's £150,000 per migrant. By the time they get to
81, it's
£500,000.
But more importantly than that, they also break it down.
That's including that's legal migrants.
Yeah, but they also break it down. Right?
Illegal migrants cost us way more.
Yes, but they also break it down and prove that actually the number of people coming into the country are low-skilled, low-paid workers that we don't need. Then they've actually got a percentage of people who are highly skilled, and they even have a percentage of doctors. You know what it is? Less than 1% of the people that come to this country.
I think you'll find, Mike, that all of those young men arriving on those boats in Dover are all engineers, doctors, coming to save the NHS. And you've clearly not read the memo.
Could I ask you a question? We've got to do the last one. My wife said this to me the other day.
She's speaking to you now?
She is, yes. She
Which
found
one?
out.
Which
she
one?
Found
Yeah,
out
which one?
Oi! She found out about us. She's OK about it.
Listen to them here if you've forgotten any of them.
You're a good one to talk. I don't know what to say about that.
He's been married to the one woman for 50 years.
She doesn't even know he exists.
Can we start a crowdfund?
Can I just tell you,
absolutely.
I've completely and utterly forgotten. No, I haven't.
Excellent.
What was I going to say?
I don't know.
hate you all.
You said you talked to your wife.
Talking to your wife.
Yeah, what did she say?
said,
Get
yes,
out.
She said, that's
Let's
it.
have baby number 7. Let's have baby number 7.
She said, let's have baby number... No, she said something. It's really interesting. You know these men who apparently are fleeing war-torn countries, right? Can I just ask you? I mean, you've been married for 50 years to the same woman, unbelievably. You and me have had a few. If you were in a war-torn country, would you not pick up your wife and your child and flee for your life? They
I don't know
all
if my husband could pick me up. I'm just wondering.
Well, I've seen it.
Why don't they stay and fight? And look, here's the thing. We live in for all the problems in our country and things not working, we actually still live in one of the best countries in the world you could possibly be lucky enough to live in. Okay, so here's the thing. Well, it didn't just happen. Britain didn't just happen to have democratic rights. We didn't just happen to have human rights. We didn't just happen to have, laws for equality and prosperity. It didn't just happen. We fought for it. We made it. We fought fascism. We actually, people marched on the streets. People protested. People have done things. I'm not quite sure why we have a duty to the rest of the world because they haven't done that.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got to jump in. Final one. Donald Trump.
The
Donald.
Well, I mean, what can I say? The second assassination attempt. The thing that I find astonishing about this is that the media, particularly in America, if you were watching CNN the other night when it came out that there was a guy hiding in the bushes with an AK-47 with a telescopic sight that was within 500 yards
for 12
of killing,
hours
was within 500 yards of killing Donald Trump, right? You would think it was Donald Trump's fault. Watching them all, MSNBC, the American media, they're all going, well, of course, he keeps coming out with this, this rhetoric and people really hate him for it, and that's why he's going to get shot at. And you're kind of going, in what world would this have ever happened before?
It's also very one-way, that argument, isn't it? The Democrats have been their rhetoric has been appalling as well.
Both sides have been appalling.
I watched that debate last week, and I was very frustrated. I think she's a con artist.
She's a total con artist.
And I know everybody says to me, Donald Trump goes off on a whim and you can't control him, but why the hell doesn't that man or somebody hold him and say, talk to her about immigration, talk to her about the biggest lie in American political history, a man who couldn't tie his shoelaces up. You hid that from the American people. You were behind these democratic policies. Nobody seems to get his
Kamala Harris is very simple. It's like,
he can win this.
As she claims, the last person in the room every time a major decision was taken on every single thing, and were you the Baldassar? And did you abjectly, fail on virtually every single one of those policies? Or were you completely sidelined because everyone knew you were useless and couldn't string 3 words together unless you had an autocue? In which case, why on earth does anyone think you should be president? It's what that was the only thing.
Well, it literally flipped, didn't it? One day, as soon as they did the debate with Biden, when suddenly, and by the way, let's not forget that Sir Keir Starmer went to Washington, came back and told us Joe Biden was fine.
Yeah,
he was absolutely in great shape, and he's never been better. And 2 weeks later, he's out of the game. Unbelievable. But suddenly Kamala Harris, as you say, Julia, went from being somebody that nobody should talk to,
perfect
somebody
candidate,
that nobody should give any responsibility to.
Puppet.
So now suddenly the greatest thing
Perfect
since
candidate.
JFK.
The thing is, though, you ask about Donald Trump. He's not very good at detail. He's not very good at. He's not a lawyer. He's not very good at revising. So he
doesn't want to be, though, does he?
No.
That's kind of why people like it.
His skill is. Here's the crux of that debate, right? I think his masterstroke was they're eating the dogs.
Yeah.
They're eating the
You think
cats.
this was a master?
They're eating the pets of the people
You
that
think it
live
was
there.
a masterstroke?
Now, look,
Why?
I think it's a masterstroke.
I agree.
First of all, no one has disproved it. ABC rang City Hall and basically said, "Is your town a complete hole full of people eating their pets?" "Oh, no, it's not." Well, they said it's not true. And then the police said, and check this out, there have been no credible reports of pet eating.
Not edible.
It wasn't edible. I
It
wouldn't say
doesn't
that.
matter.
No edible
because
reports.
it's what-
No edible report. I thought that was the best
Yeah,
line of the whole
best line.
as Julia says, the net result of it is everyone in America, all around the world, is talking about the Haitian migrants who descended on the poor little city of... Yeah, that's Haitian migrants.
Haitian?
Haitian.
Haitian, I say Haitian.
Haitian.
You
Well, how do
say
you spell it?
Haitian.
Yeah,
I say
Haitian.
How do you spell it then?
H-A-I.
Doesn't matter.
Haitian.
Oh, God.
Kev,
Go on.
Anyway,
It's Haitian.
58,000 people live
people
in
there. 20,000.
20,000 Haitian migrants
There you
that
go.
arrive there.
Sounds
It's
better.
full of problems. Everyone is now talking about Kamala's migrant
This is exactly the
crisis.
same as the big red bus during the Brexit
Yeah.
referendum. Every time the Remainers said, "It's not £350 million, we have a rebate."
yeah.
Everyone was talking about, what do you mean? We give 250 million
Right.
every week? That's way too much.
Exactly.
I think he's cleverer than people think they are. That said, American presidential debate, I think, frankly, Biden was awful. Kamala, apparently
What
after
is it?
4 years...
Kamala.
After 4 years, we still
Kamala.
didn't know how to pronounce her name. Doesn't that tell you how important a role she's played? And I think Donald Trump is unfit for public office.
Do you know-
I really
do you
think
know
it-
what? Until-
But when they couch the whole debate as existential, good and evil,
Yeah.
that is when you end up with that sort of rhetoric, especially in a country with a lot of nutters with
And
guns.
there's a lot of
so-
nutters with guns. And this particular one, Ryan Ruth, or whatever his name
Yeah,
was,
Ralph.
turns out he was a massive kind of pro-Ukrainian...
I think it's pronounced Ryan.
He went to Ukraine, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he went-
Ryan
he actually-
Haitian,
he actually
Haitian
went-
Ralph.
Even the Ukrainians
Haitian.
thought he was too crazy to be on their side.
Which is
you
quite
know?
worrying.
They didn't want him.
So to sum it up before we finish,
Yeah.
because we're
we nearly
obviously
finished?
only ever going to make one of these, because
Yeah.
they'll look at it and go, that was does he,
Maybe they'll just replace the personnel.
Well, I think
You know,
I think one
there's always
person
that
didn't
chance.
perform particularly well tonight, Kev, but we'll let you off. I'm
I
joking.
think this show's really good, apart from the people in it.
Yeah. Does he still win? Does she win? Where do we
He
just
wins.
to finish?
Trump
wins.
wins.
He
You know,
wins.
here's
I
the thing
think
I wanted to
on
say
the
about,
unbalance side,
about
Trump would, but I mean, I
about
think it was too
Kamala.
close to call.
The thing about Kamala is that until
Kamala.
until she was announced as the sort of anointed one who was now going to be the Democratic nominee, I didn't actually even know what she sounded
No.
like. And you know what? We still don't know what she sounds
Oh,
like because she keeps putting weird accents
But
on.
that's
So
why
when she's
he-
in the
Her
South,
voice-
she speaks like she's in the South.
Her
and then when
voice
she's in
is
California,
so bad.
she speaks like Meghan and talks about an opportunity economy.
An opportunity.
You know, the
All
other
of
thing that really,
bollocks.
really gets me is this whole, like, she'd be the first US president who'd be historic. Oh, my God. I mean, have they heard of Margaret Thatcher? Have they heard of
Yeah.
Angela Merkel? We have had so many world leaders
Yeah.
who are women. Please
like
don't.
you. You're the
Get-
world leader
Get
of
over
talk.
yourselves,
You're a woman.
ladies
You know
in
what?
America,
That's the
you know.
disadvantage to her, though, because in America, which is a very conservative country, I don't think they want a woman leader. I don't think they're
No,
ready
I
for
don't
one.
think they care whether it's a woman or not. I don't like. Most people don't care if it's someone who's
I think
black
it will
or a
count.
man or a woman.
I think it
What
does
they
count,
simply
yeah.
want is someone who's vaguely competent
It
who
will
can
count.
put a few words together without an autocue.
And that's
And
what
is
they-
that too much to
They-
ask in a country of 350
Yeah.
million people?
Do you think she wins? He wins? What she
I
does?
think Trump wins. They're
Do you?
neck and neck in the swing states.
Yep.
It all revolves around 7 swing states.
Yeah.
All the other states don't matter.
shy
'cause
Trump
they're
voters.
And
Shy Trump
they're neck and neck with Donald starting to edge
Yeah.
ahead.
And also-
if he wins the swing states, if he wins Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
don't forget she screwed up badly in Pennsylvania because she should have chosen Josh Shapiro, the very popular Democrat
Didn't he
governor
screw up?
there.
We know
but
why she
she
didn't.
didn't
Well-
because the Democrats hate Jews almost as much as Labour Party politicians.
Didn't he mess
And
up
also,
though with that debate? I thought that had knocked him off his pedestal a
Tampon
bit.
Tim Waltz.
Tampon Tim
right,
Waltz.
Who also can't tell the truth. He can't lie straight in bed, this
But
guy.
putting tampons in boys' baskets.
Yeah, I mean, he
Fraser's ugly
wanted
brother,
to
yeah.
defund the police. And J.D. Vance, I think, is a really good vice presidential choice for Trump. And he actually gives Trump strength. Tampon Tim takes it away from Kamala.
There you are. I actually finished the show with Tampon Tim. What do I say? That was Clash of the Titans. Did you enjoy?
I did enjoy
I
it.
hated every second of it.
I know. We hated it. she actually enjoyed something, right? You get more.
That's how great we are.
Our husband said that.
Yeah.
That's it for this week. Clash
we
of
all go
Titans.
for dinner?
We might be back next week.
we
We're
go?
off down the
Who
pub.
knows?
You can find out more of
Jeremy's
Talk throughout the week. Catch us on radio, online, on your smart speaker, and you can also
He's still
subscribe.
talking.
Shut your face. For more at Talk on
on.
YouTube. Thanks for watching. We're going on because we live there. Ta-ra!